morning, afternoon, evening to everyone, and welcome to our webinar. Today's webinar, How to Drive Sales Without a Dedicated Sales Team. I'm here with Nate Freedman. We're going to take a few more minutes until people will sign in. But until then, welcome everyone. Hi, Nate.
Hey, Tal, thank you so much for having me on.
Cool. Looking forward to it. We will wait like a minute or so until we can go and start. We'll have people settle in and grab their drink, settle in wherever and whenever they are, so we can comfortably start.
Definitely.
So,
yeah, well, we're waiting. Just love what you guys are doing for the MSP community. Saw that you had a few other webinars already with some of my friends. Paul Green was on, and you've done. You guys are making a big commitment to provide value to the MSP space. So happy to be a part of it.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate you coming along and accepting the invitation. And yeah, indeed, Guardz is very much committed to the MSP community. We live in it. We are dedicated to empower and support this community and their effort in securing their clients against the overgrowing cybersecurity landscape that is becoming hectic every day. And again, thank you for joining us today. We will take like 25 seconds until everybody settles in and we can start.
All right, I'll count in my head.
Thank you. All right. So, good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, How to Drive Sales Without a Dedicated Sales Team. My name is Tal Eisner, and I'm the Vice President of Product Marketing here at Guardz, where, as Nate says already, our mission is to empower MSPs to protect their clients while growing their business with confidence. And growing their business is exactly what we're going to discuss today. Today's session is particularly exciting because it addresses the challenge many MSPs face, and this is how to scale your business, close more deals without the luxury of having a dedicated sales team. And who better to guide us through this topic than Nate Freedman? So, Nate, first of all, welcome again, Nate.
Thank you so much, Tal.
Nate has spent the years helping MSPs transforming their business and generating high-quality leads by focusing on strategies that work, and even when resources are tight. And over the next 45 minutes, an hour, we'll explore actionable insights and proven techniques that Nate brings from his experience to take your MSPs to the next level. As we dive in, I encourage you also to participate actively. Send us questions, ask us, send us comments, share your thoughts in the chat. Feel absolutely free and make the most of this opportunity to learn from one of the best in the fields. So without further ado, let me hand it over to Nate. Nate?
Thank you, Tal. So today we are going to talk about how to drive sales without a dedicated sales team. And for me, this topic is super important because I have MSPs reach out to me every week, maybe even more often, and they're saying, Nate, I'm almost ready to start my marketing. I'm almost ready to start my lead generation campaign, but I just need to hire my sales team first. I just need to hire my salesperson first. And they think that the logical order of things is that you hire a salesperson and then you go into starting your lead gen campaign. But what I've actually found and what I've learned through the years, I've learned it, I've seen it with my clients, it happened in my own case, is that actually you're going to have most success with a salesperson or with a dedicated sales team only after you've learned to do it without them first. So we're going to talk about some principles that have to do with owner-led sales, owner-led marketing, we're talking about a sales team, but also sales and marketing are two disciplines that are very closely tied together. And I think when MSPs or businesses in general, sometimes they're thinking, I need to hire a salesperson. Really, they're saying, I need to hire somebody who's going to help me win new clients, who's going to help me add customers, whether they're doing it through marketing, sales, outreach, SEO, whatever. We're going to talk about all that today.
Right.
I think one thing your audience want to know just a little bit about me. So my name is Nate. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. Yes, Tal, I work with MSPs who want to generate more leads. I have a marketing agency. We've been doing this for the past 8 years, working exclusively with MSPs, helping them generate leads. That's called Tech Pro Marketing. And at the beginning of this year, we launched a new service called MSP Sites. And this is really a platform, a technology MSPs can use to help them actually generate more leads. Just a disclaimer, all the stuff that I'm talking about today, these are going to be things that, like, yes, we do. Yes, we can get done with our platform, but these are actually things that you can do on any platform, that you can do yourself, that you can have one person on your team do, and that you don't need to work with an agency. You don't need any expensive or fancy software. You guys can just implement these things right away. And that's the goal of today's call. I live in Rhode Island. Got a lovely family, really blessed with them. I've got a remote team. Some of you guys might be out there with a remote team as well. Over the summer, I visited 15 of my team members in the Philippines. We did like this really, really cool team building activity. I can't recommend that enough if you do have a remote team. And spoken on stages. I've led webinars. Super excited that actually all this hard work over the last 8 years, my agency was ranked in the top fastest growing 5,000 companies in the US. Want to share with all this with you just to let you know, like, I'm here to help. I've thought about this a lot. This has been my mission. Probably going to steer you in the right direction. But if I don't, it's not because of lack of trying. And also don't want you to get misled and think that I have the most amazing business. I've had the most amazing success story. For me, I've had all the same trials and tribulations that you guys have had. Maybe you're going through now. Just some examples. Had an employee poaching my client early on. When COVID hit, lost about 40% of my clientele. That's probably being generous. Had an issue where one of my trusted partners lied to me a few years ago. And all these things really hurt. And entrepreneurship is not easy. And everyone's going to face the type of stuff. If you did have this, if this was your path so far, I want you to lead the next webinar, and I'm going to attend it because I think we can all learn from that.
Me too.
Yeah, let's all get there. But guys, this is a challenge, and I want you to learn from me in terms of the tactics and strategies, but also if I can share anything about the mistakes I've made and you can learn from them, we're going to do that as well. So yeah, let's get into the topic, Tal. How MSPs can sell more managed services without building a sales team. Yeah.
Sure.
I've broken this into 3 shifts, and I really believe that the majority of this is going to come from a mindset shift. And the first shift is that a lot of us believe that selling is like this magic innate skill that some people have, and they're just really good at selling. And they also think that selling is all about promotion and talking about the features and the benefits, and you have to be really brave and bold when it comes to explaining your service and how it's going to benefit everybody, and that there's this kind of black magic behind it. And for me, early on, when I first started, this is an email that one of my clients and I put together when I first started MSP marketing. So this is about, 6 or 7 years old already. And we had this idea of, okay, we want to help this client generate leads. So we're going to build a list of all the potential businesses in their area. And we're going to send this email out to the CEOs at all those businesses, introducing our CEO and talking about some of the benefits that you get from working with them. And, there's actually a lot of good stuff in here. Streamlining operations, protecting data, communicate effectively, right? Being proactive, focusing on productivity. Actually, these are great things that a lot of MSPs should be doing. And this is real. These are great benefits. But when I sent this out to like 500 CEOs in the area, do you want to know how many responded, Tal?
3?
Zero. Okay. So I fell flat on my face with this one. And I think like we all do, we all kind of have webinars like this we go to.
Yeah.
We all have mentors, peer groups. So I went to one of my mentors and I was like,
Right.
my mentor's name was Brent. I was like, Brent, like, what's going on with this email? And he just looked at me and he's like, Nate, have you ever just thought about asking if they need IT support? Like, let's take a step back. I know we've all heard this kind of dating analogy. It's like talking about planning your kids' names on the first date. You know what I mean? On the first text message, like getting all the reasons why you're going to make a great husband. And really, we're trying to find out, like, are you dating? Are you seeing somebody? Maybe that's like the first question you might want to ask. So then we switched our opening message. And it's all owner-led stuff. I switched to this message. First name, are you looking for a new IT support company? That's all it was. And I want to be clear here. I don't want to mislead you guys. We did have an email signature at the bottom, right? That did have their photo and their logo and the links to their website. So it's not like just a random, email. Are you looking for a new IT support company? It shows who's sending it, but having a great name and email signature there. But then when we did this, that's where we start getting responses, right? What does your calendar look like? I'm available for a discussion. I'd love to hear more about your service. Thanks for reaching out. I'd be interested in learning more. And that's kind of when I realized this big first lesson, right? Or that was the big first lesson is ask, right? You're not selling right away. You're appointment setting, right? And that's the first step. So I think if you're an owner and you're like, how do I do sales? Let's just take a step back. Your first step is going to be about appointment setting. So I've got some examples about how we can do this. Before I get there, Tal, any feedback, any questions on this part of it?
No. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I think if you're going to do that, we're going to take 3 steps. The first thing is just build a clear brand. And a lot of MSPs like, I need to build a website, right? I can't, right? This is another thing. I need to hire a salesperson. I need to build a website. We have found that the websites that perform the best, the email messages that perform the best, they're the ones that are just clear and straightforward. So here's an example of one of our templates that we have. And what we've got here is just a really clear headline that does everything that everybody needs. And that's maybe why we got responses from that email is people click the email signature, they check out the website, and right at the top of the website, they're able to see exactly what this is all about, right?
And this is you're helping MSPs doing that and crafting the copy and crafting the messaging and the actual design of the website.
Definitely. So I think like what you're seeing here is one of our templates that people can use in MSP sites. And when you sign up with us, part of our process is going through what we're going to go through exactly right now, which is figure out what is your who do get statement. And we help you figure out your who do get statement. But I think if you're just paying attention right now, you can probably watch this webinar, get out a piece of paper, write down your who do get statement, go to your website and see if you've got something confusing up there. How can we make it super clear like this one? And I like this type of website design because you've got the logo in the top left corner. Guys, we're not going to change the way that the internet views websites. Like we want to be creative, but like the logo goes in the top left. Right. Your menu goes after that. And you have to have a clear call to action. So this is one thing you can do to schedule these meetings, right? Just like in that email having, would you like, do you need a new IT support company? Just that it, asking one question. Let's just have one clear call to action. Just schedule a 15-minute call. And then we want to have right in the center of the website that people can see right away, who do we help? What do we do? And what do they get? And that's called a who do get statement, right? Who do you serve? What do you do for them? What do they get? Who do you serve? New England small businesses. What do you do for them? Security first IT. What do they get? Minimized cyber risks. So it doesn't have to be in the exact, word order. I think if you're a security focused IT company, which a lot of you guys are, this is the type of phrase that you're going to want on the top of your website, maybe in your email signature, right? Just very clear on your LinkedIn profile. This is the type of stuff that are going to let people know right away what you do, so that when you reach out to them, or when they search you up and find you, they know they're in the right place and they can schedule a meeting very easily. One of my clients, this was not the exact same client, but a similar client, they had another great, is pretty complex, right? Welcome to company name with our products and services tailored to your business and paired with outstanding customer service. We can accommodate all of your IT needs. Like, that's great. You do want to have outstanding customer service. You do want to pair, tailor your services to their business. You don't want to put them into a box of one size fits all, but this company's in Calgary. We manage every aspect of your Calgary business IT, so you don't have to. That fits into our who, do, get statement. Some of you guys are going to look at this and say, Nate, no. That email you showed me, that website you showed me, it's too boring. I need something a little bit crazier. I need something that's a little bit more out there. And I definitely think there's a time and place for putting together things that are, funny, like engaging, exciting.
Yeah.
And I know the Guardz, you guys do it. I've watched your ads all the time. I love them. I have similar ads for my
Thank you very
business, and
much.
there's a certain, they're good. There's a place for that, like maybe remarketing, which is, I think, where you guys are doing it, right? Social media marketing, things like that. But a lot of times you don't need the gecko, you know what I mean? Like, that can work at a certain point. Don't let that be the thing that stops you. Don't be the one who's like, I can't generate leads. I can't win new business until I've got my gecko ad, until I've got an ad as good as Guardz. What I want you guys to do is just be another company that I love. It's called Ron Seal. I don't know if you guys are going to hear my audio here. Don't know if we are, but basically this is Ron Seal. And Ron Seal is quick drying wood varnish. If you're in the UK, you might have heard of them. And what this advertisement says is, Ron Seal, it's quick drying wood varnish. When you put it on your door, it varnishes it, and then it dries quickly. It does exactly what it says on the tin. So as an IT company, there's nothing wrong with providing good IT support and a secure network. Like, that's a fantastic position for you to have. So guys, just have a simple position here. I think it's going to work really well. That's step one. Get your branding clear and make it clear and straightforward branding. There's a time to go crazy. There's a time to be funny. But when you're starting out with owner-led sales, the solid choice is usually the best choice.
Now, how does once we got that straight and we have a branding in line or a website in place, how do and probably expected question, but how we get this website and messaging to as many ears and as many eyes as possible?
Yeah, so I believe in a kind of a multi-pronged approach to all this stuff. And what I think you've got to do is you've got to have some type of inbound strategy, right? And your inbound strategy would be things like SEO and Google Ads. And I think for a lot of MSP owners, you put that in the marketing bucket. You wouldn't put that in the sales bucket, but that would be like some type of inbound marketing. And for an MSP, just to kind of let you guys know, definitely the Google Maps is a great place to start, because if you go into Google and you type in IT support near me, IT company near me, you are going to see in those search results, and later on we'll get to it, I've got a slide that shows this. In those search results, you're going to see that actually there's ads up top. That's why I love the Google ads. And then the maps, the big maps pack comes below it. And then you've got the organic listing. So if you're just starting out, go to that Google, do that search in your area, IT support Chicago, IT support Calgary. Look at the people who are showing up at the top of that Google Maps result and copy what they're doing, okay? You don't need to hire a salesperson, to hire a chief revenue officer to copy what your competitors are doing. You can absolutely do that on your own. All you got to do is edit your Google business profile and reverse engineer what they're doing. So that's kind of the inbound part of it. If you want to do a Google ad strategy, there's some tactics behind that. But in general, you want to be showing up in Google for when people type in IT services near me. You want to pay for those clicks. And Google Ads a little bit challenging, a little bit. But I think if you focus on copying, being inspired by what your top competitors are doing, you'll find that maybe it's a little simpler than you thought. And that's the inbound approach to it. The outbound approach is kind of what I started with, right? Make a list of all of those businesses in your area that might be a great fit for you. So we're talking about not hiring a sales team. This is a perfect example where you don't need to hire a sales team to do prospect research. You need a virtual assistant. You need one of those people that I have in the Philippines to join your team. And what their job is to do is to go into Google and type in accountants in Chicago, go to every single one of those websites, look who the IT decision maker is, put it into a spreadsheet, look them up on LinkedIn, get their LinkedIn profile URL, do a little more research, use a tool like Hunter or one of these other email tools, get their email address. Shoot them a simple email, shoot them a connection request on LinkedIn with another simple message. Do you guys work with an IT company? Do you need IT support? Who's the right person on your team to discuss IT? When are you reviewing your IT contract? Basic questions that just get to the point. And then when they check you out and they land on your website through that method, having that clear who do get statement. So the third way to drive traffic to get them into your website would be through some type of prospect nurturing campaign. This would be something like having your audience on LinkedIn, right? You're connecting with all those people. You send them a message, they see that message once, but if you're active on LinkedIn and you're sharing great content, you're doing LinkedIn lives like this, you can stay top of mind. And I do think it's important to stay top of mind. Email newsletters, webinars, all this type of stuff, just to show. I think like the key there, Tal, is that a lot of people are like, I'm going to provide value to my audience by giving them some random ebook. That's not how you provide value. You provide value by doing what exactly you guys are doing, getting into the community, really being a part of it, and really just trying your hardest to not just like give like fake value, but like go out there and make relationships with people who are going to go insane on your audience and give them the information they need, you know? So I think these are certain ways you can do it, is like just actually provide value to that audience. And before you go, I just want to say, I'm so glad this Ron Seal, we've stopped on this slide, because seriously, people can learn so much from Ron Seal. They're one of my favorite companies of all time. And I just think doing a great job is probably the key to this, is like, don't overcomplicate it. And if you're the owner, that's fine. Like, just do a good job on your business and be straightforward. People are going to appreciate that. Ron Seal's not doing anything crazy. They're literally just varnishing a door and being fast drying.
Very interesting.
So when they land on your website, Tal, we're going to have an appointment funnel, right? So a lot of this stuff, it all does drive back to a website, but here's what an appointment funnel looks like. And I think this is so important for owner-led sales to have this appointment funnel. Number one, make sure that there is a way for people to clearly see. You can see we're doing with this, we've got these buttons in green, schedule a call. We're doing 2 graphic design techniques. I'm not going to get too technical here. One of them is called contrast. I'm using a contrasting color for the most important piece of the page. I want that to stand out. I'm also doing another graphic design technique called encapsulation, which basically means a button or a pill shape. Having a clear call to action. And after they do that, not just contact us and having just some random contact form that you haven't thought about. Keep their focus and have them fill out a form just like this. If they fill out this form, this is the first step to shifting the balance of power when you're in your sales process. Because what happens is a lot of owners, when they start selling, they get into the sales meeting and they're actually getting, the prospect is leading the sales call. And it turns from a opportunity to really show the value of what you can do to more of like a job interview. And you're like, whoa, I don't even know what happened. How did my prospect dictate how this sales meeting is going? What I recommend is having a really strong appointment funnel so that your prospect knows from the very beginning that they are not in control of the sales process, that you are in control of the sales process. So just these steps right here, fill in the quick form. We'll take the time to listen. If we're a good fit to help, we'll let you know the general cost and next steps. It's letting them know that, hey, when you get into the meeting with me, I've got the agenda and you don't need to like randomly ask questions. Because I think we've all been in buying processes where you get into the sales call and the person doesn't know what they're doing and you end up asking all the questions and then they're lost and you're like, why am I even here? When we get into a sales discussion as a buyer, we want someone who confidently knows how to take me through the buying process. So this is the first step. A couple other things we've got on this page is we've got testimonials, right? If people are going to actually take that step to reach out to you, they might need a little push, and social proof is one of the best ways to do it.
So I would say that basically this, I don't know, landing page, if you may call it this way, is really should be focused and very clear. What is the process? Why are we bringing the people here? And what are they getting by giving us their credentials, which is, I don't want to sound, but it's kind of a dramatic step for them, giving them their email and their names. If they're doing so, they need to know that they're getting something and that it's very clear what they're getting.
What we don't want is people to be like, oh my gosh, when I fill out this form, I'm going to get hounded by calls from a sales rep like so many times. I'm scared to fill it out. What we want to let them know is like, we're chill, we're here to help, and we're going to have a call and see if we're the right fit, and that's it. I've also removed all the friction from this form. This is another thing. Some people are like, this is like back to the Ron Seal stuff. Like, no, I need to know number of users. I need to know their current IT spend. I need to know what email system they're on. I need to know how many servers they have. I'm going to need all this information.
Too much information.
Let's just get their contact info. And if they want to share that, they'll put it in the how can we help field. You know what I mean? They'll put that.
But the question really is, why will, it's a general question, but we need to, the MSPs need to find a way to really convince, so to speak, or be reliable enough and trusted enough in order for someone that is visiting this page to actually fill in the form.
Yeah. So I think, whatever way you can, whatever proof you can put in this section right here is going to be really powerful, but also showing them that you have a process. And I think this is another thing that's so important for MSPs is that actually a small business will leave an MSP because they feel like their current MSP does not have enough processes. So their processes are too weak. For example, ticket resolution process, right? QBR process. And it's like, dude, my MSP hasn't reached out to me. And when they see something like this, and it's like step 1, step 2, oh, these guys actually have a great process. You're showing professionalism from the very beginning. After you do this, then I recommend going to the booking form, have your photo there, show the person they're going to book with. Don't put a logo in. Let's show trust. And why do I have the booking form on the second page? Because sales is hard enough, you guys. So every step that we need to do, we're literally trying to shift it's called, in the sales world, it's called being power framed. Have you ever heard of this, Tal, this concept of being power framed?
Yeah.
You're the salesperson, you get into the sales call and the customer starts bullying you. And this makes it such a hard situation. It happened to me once. I had someone get on the call and I was like, okay, great. So I have my video on. I'm really excited for this call. I want to make sure that we give you a ton of value and that we help you figure out the next steps of doing your marketing. Want to make sure, can you turn your video on right now? And the guy's like, no, I'm driving. And I'm like, driving? How are you going to do a sales call while you're driving? And I'm like, is that safe? Like, why don't we reschedule for later? Like, I'm in a Tesla. It's safe. I'm like, okay. And then I was like, inexperienced. So I was like, okay, let's keep going. Like, that's fine. Like, so tell me about like what you want to get out of this call. And they're like, I just want to see what you guys are all about. I want to understand your process and then I'll decide if you're the right fit. At that point, like if you're that deep where I was like, I can just tell you right now, I don't think it's going to be a good fit. And look, well, just tell me tell me everything you're doing. And I'm like, that's not the purpose of this call. The purpose of this call is to help you, not share my pricing with you so you can say no. You know what I mean? So what this does is it reduces power framing because it makes them go through that first hoop in a nice way and in a kind of a clean and professional way of filling out the form before they schedule the call. I believe if you give everyone free access to your calendar, because this is something MSPs say to me a lot, can I just put the calendar and skip the form? I believe what that does is it hurts you in terms of it's allowing them to power frame. You know what I mean? It's saying, hey, my calendar's open. You can take up as much time as you want. You don't even have to fill out a form to get access on my calendar. My time is not worth that much.
Right.
So that's why I have this. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I have another slide and we can come back here. But one of the things that I want to talk about is after this happens, another way to avoid power framing and to have a great sales call is to do a professional follow through. And for me, what this looks like is having an email series that goes out between the time they schedule the call and when you have the call. So we internally, for us, we actually do 3 emails and a text message. And in our software, you know, we've got text messaging set up into our workflows. We've got it set up like this. You could set this up with Calendly. You could set this up with MSP sites. We've kind of got this base built out of it. But this is the one that we do internally. And I want to show you guys some nuances about it, which are going to really, really help you have a great call. And this is called an FTA, a first time appointment. So a lot of MSPs, when we give them this template, they like remove everything and they get it down to 1 sentence. And I'm telling you guys, you want this in here exactly like it is or very close to it.
That's a template or that's an example?
This is our example. You know, you guys can screenshot this and use it as a template. This is how we use it. We have one that we've designed specifically for MSPs, but it's very similar. And it does a lot here. And it's kind of bold, you know, and it says, I'm looking for the strategy call. The goal is to help you get clear on the next steps of refining your IT, whatever that is. If we're a great fit, we'll discuss how we can work together. To make the best use of our time, take the following steps to prepare for our call. Have the entire hour blocked off. And a lot of MSPs think this is too bold. This is like, no. The prospect is like, I'm just lucky to be having the appointment. You know, like they like however long they have is great. I'll take what I can get. You're not going to win a sales. You're not going to win a sale if you're not confident. They want to know that you're confident, that you've got value. So you need to say, hey, this sales call is so valuable. Have the time blocked off. Have your video on. How can you have a successful sales call if you're ready and you've got your video on and they don't even have the respect to turn on their video? Unless you're working in an industry where really they're not used to video calls, which I don't think is any industry right now. I think even the most, you know, even the businesses that are fully out in the field, like I would do it over FaceTime. You know what I mean? I'd meet them if you're dealing with construction businesses where they're not in front of computers, something like that. And maybe you do it over FaceTime, but come on, everyone knows how to do a video conference these days. And then this is the part, right? Simply respond back to this message with the words 100%. People, when I show MSPs this, oh no, I'm too scared to do. They don't say they're too scared, but deep down they're too scared because they're worried people aren't going to respond back with it. And the clients are not going to be happy. And they're going to be like, well, I don't want to spend an hour with you. If they have that attitude up to this point, like I'm not 100% committed to this call, I'm just telling you right now, you're not going to win the sale. Right. Your only chance of winning the sale is if they do respond back with 100%. But when we do this, yeah, we get it. Looking forward to our Zoom call. I just grabbed a few last week. I am 100%. When they send this, we know we're going to have an amazing sales call. And they're like, I'm so excited to meet with you. I want to see how you can help change my business. Looking forward to what we can do, what you guys can do for us. 100%, 1,000%. Like, I'm sure that guy signed like the next day. So this is a way to power frame in your direction, you know, and that's what this is all about. So between that meeting, I want you to have, between the time they fill out that calendar, when they have that meeting, I want you to have 3 reminders. The first one is the confirmation. And it goes like, hey, your meeting is confirmed. Here's the date and time. Looking forward to talking to you then. Then 24 hours before, I want you to have another one that has those 3 requests. Have the time blocked off, have your video on, respond back with the words 100%. And then 1 hour before, I want you to send an email that says, just want to give you the link. Just as a reminder, I also sent you a text just in case. And I want you to text as well. Then they go into the call and they say, oh my gosh, you guys are so much more professional than my current MSP. They never do anything like this. I've never gone through a customer experience like this, where you even sent the reminder an hour before. I'm busy. I miss a lot of meetings. That was so helpful. You've already sold them on how professional you are. So yeah, this step, having a professional follow through on that meeting. And then again, after the meeting, right? We've got an automation in place that basically after the meeting ends, it automatically sends a thank you email. Thank you so much for attending, right? You could link in the Zoom recording if you kind of want to get a little technical with it. You can link in your notes. Here's my notes from the meeting. You can do it manually. So our salesperson does. He says, hey, here are the notes that I took in the call. Let me know. I'm going to be in touch again with everything we talked about, but I wanted to get you this right away. Really shows a difference in professionalism. So having professional follow through is super important.
Right.
I'm going to show you a few more things. As an MSP, you need to know that there are, so this is good. We actually are doing 3 steps, and we'll be about 45 minutes in at the end of these 3 steps. You need to know that your prospect, they reach out to you through different methods. We did a study of all our clients. How do the leads come in? We found that 35% come through that form that we talked about. 2% maybe coming through email or some other way. 21 coming through the chat, and 41 coming through the phone. So I want to make sure that you're prepared to really have an amazing response to all of these. So we talked about how to do the forms. We've already done that. Now I want to talk about a few other things. The next thing is the chat. I really believe having a chat agent that doesn't, it's not just sitting there in the corner and saying, hey,
Can I
if
help
you have
you?
a question, what's the name of your business? Do you need a new MSP? One of those questions are you looking for a new IT support company? And since this time, we've even updated even more. Now we say, hi, my name is Felicity. I'm a real human. Are you looking for business IT support? Right? And when they see there's a real human there, this is going to separate you so much. You do have to have this set up in a way that it's either going to your text messages, someone's manning it. This is, if you guys ever want to learn about us, we can talk about how we help our clients with that. It's not super expensive to get it manned all the time. This person really just needs to be focused on capturing leads. They don't have to answer every question. They need to know the basics. They don't need to be able to answer any technical questions, but having them there responding right away. Oh my gosh, you guys respond even on your website. I called 3 other IT companies. They didn't answer the phone, right? So that's the other thing. Make sure that you've got dedicated lines for sales inquiries and for client support.
And actually answer them.
And have your sales line, make sure that one rings too. You know what I mean? And record it. That's the other thing. You have to record your sales calls so that you know which ones came in and how they were handled. So yes, answering the phone and answering it right away and not going through a phone tree. The sales line goes directly to the person who can help them with sales. One other automation that we set up that I'd like you guys to set up as well to really help with this is a instant connect automation. Basically, the way that this works, that we have it set up, is that our live chat agent, as soon as they get a lead that comes in through chat, at the end of the chat, they say, would you like if Tal's available, would you like me to have him call you right away? When they say yes, we got an automation that we put into place where it automatically dials our salesperson. They answer and says, you've got a lead from the website, press 1 to call them. They press 1, it dials the lead. When we do this and our prospects are like, wait, it's Mike from Tech Pro Market. I was just on your website. I just stopped with the chat agent. You're calling me now. Yeah, how can I help? I did not expect to get called back within a minute.
But there is a risk there, maybe of, or you tell me actually, isn't there a risk there about being too aggressive or too, I would say, proactive, a little bit too proactive? I mean, I surfed the website, I looked around, I shopped around, and suddenly I get a call. Isn't it a little bit intimidating?
No, this is only if they've chatted with the agent and
all
they've
right.
said, and the
So
agent has
after
said,
the interaction, after the actual first interaction, then you initiate the action.
yes, exactly. And you
Right.
could do it after a form as well. Like, right, you get a
Right.
form in, someone fills out the
Yeah.
form.
After a
And
form, that's clear.
yes, they've scheduled because we've got the scheduling funnel, but you can also call right away. You could text message right away. Hey, just saw that you completed the form. I see we're scheduled for next week. I'm actually free now if you want to chat for 15 minutes before then, right? Call them back right away. So you do want to schedule, but then you want to exceed their expectations by also calling them back right away. Instant connect. And this is like, a lot of industries are doing this. It's not just MSPs who are doing this. This is a popular marketing strategy among many industries. But I just think for MSPs, response times are your unique value proposition. It is your differentiator. Like, you need to show immediate response times in the first minute of your interaction with your prospects. That will help you stand out. This will actually, I've seen it before, right? Why did you decide to work with our MSP? Well, you were the only one who called me back. I called 3 other MSPs. None of them even answered. None of them even got back to me. So like literally, like for owners out there, we get back to the title of it, right? If you're not answering your phones, if you're not responding to leads immediately, you're not ready to have a sales team. You guys can do that and make a big impact on your own.
Yeah. All right. What else?
There's so many other things we can do. Yeah, I think the last thing that I want you guys to know is just know some major sales principles.
Right.
And number 1 is the interaction model. And this is that relationships are built over interactions over time. So I think like Guardz, I don't know the pricing. I guess I won't use you as an example, but for example, in the SaaS world, it is very common to have a 30-minute demo call, and then at the end of the demo, go for the sale right then. And that's one interaction of 30 minutes, and then you go for the sale. And in the SaaS world, we're typically dealing with low prices, $30 a month, $30 user a month, whatever, you know what I mean? Relatively low prices, and you can get away with that. But if you are selling something that's $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, no one's going to commit to that in a 30-minute call. That might take, some of my friends in the agency space, their minimum agreement with a client is $1 million a year. If your minimum agreement is $1 million a year, do you think they get their sale done in a 30-minute call? No, they get it done over a 6-month sales process that has up to 25 meetings. So I want MSPs to leverage this and understand the value, the price of what you're charging. The more you charge, you need to have more interactions over a longer period of time. So like if your average sale price is $5,000, what I want you to do is have that strategy call that they book, that consultation. But before the consultation, make sure you call them for a 5-minute interaction to just say hello. That's that first interaction. So when they get into the second call, it's like, oh yeah, I already know Tal. This is cool. Like I'm more relaxed.
Yeah.
And then you say to them, right, if it's a $5,000, $10,000 at the end of that first call, you're going to say something like, so glad I've learned so much about you. Actually, you have a really complex IT situation. You mentioned that you've dealt with this issue and this issue and this issue. And that's actually similar to a lot of the clients that we work with. And in the old days, we used to go back and just do a proposal and get it to you. But what we found was that when the situation is so complex like this, it really requires a little bit more research, a little bit more planning on our side. So we've got a program. It's called our, IT intensive, our IT road mapping sessions. And it's 3 meetings where the first meeting, we're going to look over your network and we're going to figure that out. The second meeting, we're going to go over this other element of what we do. And this third meeting, we'll go over this other element of what we need to do. In total, yeah, it's going to take about 5 hours of your time, but I can guarantee you that the proposal you get from us at the end of this is going to actually be the right proposal for you. And why I like that's called like a discovery model, right? Why I like a discovery model as opposed to just a single sales, one call sales model, which is like typical in SaaS, software as a service, is because you build a relationship. So what we've found is like, if we have 5 meetings with somebody, by the end of it, as long as you're nice, you do maybe have to have some natural ability to connect with people at this point. But I think if you're an entrepreneur and you've got a team and you've gotten this far, you should be able to build a great relationship over those 5 meetings. And then you can start charging a lot. So if you're thinking like, hey, my thing is going to cost about $10,000, I'm going to need to meet with them 5 times before they sign that proposal. It's just going to happen. It's only $500 a month. I'll get it done in the first call. I want you to just keep that in mind. I think that's a really important thing to understand, that no one is going to pay for something. No one's going to understand the value and they're going to believe in you enough if it's super expensive over just one call. Extend your sales process if possible. Along those same lines, there's something called BAM FAM. Book a meeting from a meeting. Okay, so now I'm like really just getting into the nitty gritty here as actual doing sales. So we talked about how to get that first meeting done. And then what you do is at the end of every meeting, you always schedule your next meeting during the call. Okay, great. Super happy with what we covered today. I've really learned a lot about that. As I mentioned earlier, our next call is going to be focused on this. How does next Tuesday at 10 work for that call? Great. Let's put it in right now. Cool. I'll see you next Tuesday. Never give them a chance to ghost you. Book a meeting from a meeting, or as I call it, always schedule the next interaction. So I think if you understand these 2 things so far, the relationship model, relationships are built through interactions over time. And if you always schedule the next interaction, then that's going to give you the concepts that you need to build your process. The last step is just knowing your process. I'm going to give you 2 examples of MSP sales processes right now. This is a really basic one that I might recommend starting with, especially if you are a lower priced MSP, if you're working with smaller businesses. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with working with smaller businesses. Personally, I would rather have 100 clients paying $2,000 a month than 20 clients paying whatever, the reverse of that. It builds a stable business, so there's nothing wrong with it. But if you're doing a lower one and you're doing less interactions, do that qualification call that we talked about. You get that right on the website. At the end of that call, you say, sounds like we could potentially help you. In order to build a solid proposal, I need to come on site and meet with you and do some research and run some scans. At the end of that, I'm going to come back on site, or we can do it on Zoom, where I do a proposal presentation, and you're going to make that decision whether you want to move forward with me or not on that proposal call. And the key here is I want you as an MSP owner, like you could just use this one, it's fine. But like just knowing that your sales process is 4 meetings and you're going to need 4 meetings to close any client. And you're not going into it as definitely, we got some comments here. Awesome. Felt found that's going to be part of the objection handling loop. We'll talk about that in a second. Or you could do a more complex sales process, which is the one I described, where you do the qualification call, then you maybe do a strategy call. Then you're going to do a strategy intensive with the different types of discovery. Then you're going to do a proposal. Then you're going to do a solutions presentation. Then you're going to do a proposal presentation. Then you do the new client onboarding. This would be a more expensive client. But the key is knowing exactly what it is. When you get to any of these yellow ones, that means you're collecting money. That's why I put these lines in here. And when you get to that point, right, your goal at the proposal presentation is to actually collect a credit card, right? If you're in person, get them to sign the agreement and fill out the payment authorization form. If you're doing it online, straight up, we collect the cards over the phone. We find that to be the easiest way to do it. And we just get the money, send them a form, have them fill it out while you're on the call. And what's going to happen is at the end of the call, the buyers are going to do this tricky thing where they are going to throw objections at you, not even knowing what they're doing. It's just natural, like fight or flight buying, like buyers subconsciously know how to do this. And they're going to say, Tal, everything sounds great. I want to move forward with you, and I'm going to do it right after this call. And has that happened to you, Tal? Have you done some sales calls for Guardz where they're gonna, and then they don't sign up, and I'm like, what happened? You told me you were gonna. What's going on there? You know?
I hear you. I definitely hear you, and it can be very frustrating, but it also can be, it's an opportunity. I think that it is an opportunity that
I think
needs to be addressed.
Yeah, you can't allow it to happen. You have to dig for objections because they're gonna try to trick you into thinking that they're gonna buy it. I think it's because people are natural people pleasers. They don't want to say no. But your goal is to move to a close, a yes close or a no close. And like in here, you would go and be like, okay, so if you're going to sign up, why don't you just do it right now so that we can schedule our next call, which is going to be your onboarding call.
Right.
Meeting from a meeting, do this. And then they say, okay, I said I was going to, but I'm not really ready. I still need to talk to this person on my team about. That's where we're going to get into feel, felt, found. And you're going to go into an objection handling loop. And the objection handling loop is restate their objection, use feel, felt, found, and then go for the close again. So this is going to be something like, okay, well, I want to sign up, but I need to talk to my business partner. What? You didn't tell me you had a business partner. Why didn't you bring that up? And then you say, totally. I get that you need to talk to your business partner. Actually, I used to feel the same way. I have an operations lead on my company, and and I felt like, I understand how you feel. I have an operations lead at my company, and in the past, I felt like I needed to run every decision by them before I made it. But what I found was that actually they trusted me to make the right decision. And every time I went to them, they were just saying, yeah, it's whatever you want, Nate. We trust you. How is the conversation going to go between you and your partner? Is it the same thing? They say, yeah, actually, they entrust me. They're just going to go with what I want. Okay, so if that's the case, then can we just sign you up right now so we can book your onboarding call? Right? And this is where you're going to use feel, felt, found. I understand how you feel. I felt the same way, but I found that the other way is the right way.
Nate, we are getting to the top of the hour, and I wanted to ask you a question. Of course, we can continue this more and more, and I feel this is very insightful, and I truly hope that our MSPs and the community will benefit from this. I want, you've been sharing great strategies for driving sales and to interact, and the strategies that I think can be very, very helpful. I want to ask you, what would you say is the single most impactful shift MSPs can make today to see immediate results? What would be the tip for them?
So I think the mindset shift is that sales is not magic. Nobody's born with it. Everything I showed you today was technical and logical.
Right.
As an MSP owner, you are a technical and logical person, most likely. And literally there is a science behind it. There's an art to it, but 90% of it you can get done with the science. So it's follow those exact tips, but just keep in mind the whole time, it's like there's a logical process here, and a salesperson is not going to have any secret magic, and they're not naturally just good at it, and they're not, you know what I mean? Like maybe there are some people who excel at the art of it a little better, but 90% of it is the science.
Right. That's amazing and very, very helpful and very, very insightful. As I said, we're getting to the top of the hour and we need to wrap this up. I'm sure that the MSPs that have been watching and will watch this will find this very, very beneficial. We call out to any MSPs that is watching us to reach out to Nate, to me, to Guardz, and to Nate's company, to Tech Marketing, for any support. Both of our organization, I feel, is very dedicated and very engaged in within the MSP community, and we have a unique, I would say, unique mission, both of us, to really empower those that community, to really succeed, grow, both in helping and supporting the clients that they protect, but also growing their business, which is a very important daily challenge for all MSPs wherever they are. I see that we already have comments from MSPs that would like more sessions like that, and I can promise as Guardz that we are hosting on regular basis these kind of sessions, and we should do this, Nate, more often.
Yeah, and I just have like a little bit of closing remarks, if it's okay with you, if it's okay with the audience as well.
Definitely.
Guardz, you guys, Tal, are providing a ton of value, and you are really leading with value. And on this call, we barely touched on what you guys do. I would love it if you guys loved this call and want to thank the Guardz team and Tal for putting this together. Go to their website, like check it out, schedule a demo, whatever the step is there, take their call to action and just give it a shot, because relationships, I think any partnership, you're going to have relationships and results. You guys are showing from the relationship side that you're committed to building great relationships with MSPs. And I think, give them a shot, see what they can do from the result side for your business. And then if you don't mind, from my side,
sure,
we've got a couple different options. Is number one, if you can go to techpromarketing.com, you can request a strategy call. And like literally, we have a grassroots mission at Tech Pro Marketing. You don't have to be a qualified prospect to take a strategy call. Like, we'll see if we're the right fit, but we will help you on that call, and you will be with our lead strategist, Mike Fielstra, who is an insane salesperson. And if you just want to take that strategy call and follow up on some of the questions you have here, you can do that. The second thing is, we didn't get into it because I didn't want to lose anyone's focus. I wanted you guys to understand the principles behind it. But everything we're doing at MSP sites, like, I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about this topic. We're building like a software solution for a lot of these problems. So building out those automation series and helping MSP owners who are doing owner-led sales get the edge on their prospects, pre-setting the pipelines with all of these things set up, and making it as easy as possible, at least from a technology perspective, to guide you through a strong sales process is really what MSP Sites is all about. You can check that out at mspsites.com.
Cool. Nate, thank you very so much for this. This was a personal pleasure of mine and a professional pleasure also. I look forward to continue our collaboration. And to all of you MSPs out there, thank you for joining us. And we hope you found this session insightful. And see you on the next one. Thank you very much. Signing off.